Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Tapter with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
What a Sunday I had. Tom Brady and Kyler Murray and 4 more cases of Diet Mountain Dew. And how about them Cowboys?
Man. Matthew Stafford let me down. He owed me 4 cases.
He's off. That didn't look like an MVP performance.
Nah, man, he let me down, Skip. He let me down. That's all right. He'll make it back up. He'll make it back up.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, wow.
Not really.
Skip, you did have a good Sunday. I wasn't thinking about every single guy that did their job, including your guy, your favorite guy, Tom Brady. He made his much anticipated return to Foxborough last night, and the 7-time champ got the last laugh over Bill Belichick as the Bucs escaped with a 19-17 win. Rainy conditions slowed down both offenses much of the night, and the Patriots missed a 56-yard field goal to take the lead with less than a minute to go. So, Shannon, this game, it was so special to watch. What is the biggest reason the Bucs won?
Well, I think, Skip, I'm gonna have to start looking at the weather forecast because I did not pay attention to the weather forecast. So, especially in New England, you playing outdoors, you might need to take a look at the forecast, and it will give you an indication there was no way the team was gonna get to the mid-30s, high 30s in conditions like that. But overall, I thought it was a very well played game. Skip, I think the missed opportunity for the New England Patriots really hurt them. When you play a team when you're undermanned, and there's no question in my mind, even with all the absences on the defensive side of the football, I think the Bucs have the better roster, especially offensively. And you can't turn the football over. Mac Jones threw an interception. I thought he started the game out, Skip. He looked like a rookie. He looked nervous. He looked anxious. He wasn't throwing the ball. He wasn't placing it like I've seen Mac Jones throw the football. And then the second turnover, Skip, they fumbled the ball on first down on the 28-yard line. In that worst-case scenario, you're probably going to get points out of that, although it's not a foregone conclusion. Matthew Slater knows. Skip, you cannot go out of bounds, run 40 yards out of bounds, and come back in. They're going to call unsportsmanlike conduct. When I was in the league, Skip, that's what guys used to do. Because they know you can't hit it. That's why the defenders didn't touch it. Because if they would have touched it, it'd have been, you can't block a guy out of bounds. So guys just started running out of bounds, and the NFL says, no, we got to do something about this. This is not sportsmanship. This is not the spirit of the rule.
He made a hellacious hit.
He made a hellacious hit after 40 yards down the field, and then he's looking like they pushed him out of bounds. I know. They can push you out of bounds, but you got to make a concerted effort to immediately get back in bounds. So, Skip, I thought things like that, I thought that hurt them because they recovered the fumble on that situation. They would have gotten the ball in great field position had they not done that. So I think it was just the missed opportunities that they had. Had a kick to take the lead with 50 seconds, Skip. I was praying the kick go in because I wanted to see if Tom Brady could do it one more time in the house that he didn't build it, but he helped refurbish it. He has it all nice and lavish for everybody else to come afterwards. They can look at it, man, this thing look really nice, man. Tom did it really nice up in here. I wanted to see, Skip, could he do it one more time against the guy that he spent 20 years doing it for, Coach Bill Belichick. So I was praying, and as the king is like, man, it looked good, it looked good.
It did.
And then you started seeing drift, Skip. You're like, I don't know about this one now. And then
Folks said he thought it was good.
Yes.
And it drifted and it drifted and it left uprighted.
It left uprighted. So for me, Skip, I thought that was the biggest key, the missed opportunities. Coach Belichick did a great job against Tom Brady, Skip. Held him to his lowest completion percentage since he's been a Buccaneer. Did a lot of disguising, played a lot of three-man front, dropped guys in coverage, brought pressure some. They got some pressure. But I thought overall the game plan that he had in place was very good. At the end of the day, sometimes it comes down to kicks. And Tom Brady, for the better part of his career, Skip, has had really good kickers.
Super Bowl more than he wanted to win that game last night. And I told you Friday, I feared for him. first reason. The shock to me of the whole night, and after I slept on it, it really hit me right between the eyes. The shock was that in the end, Bill Belichick lost his nerve and he lost faith in his next Tom Brady that he stole down middle of the first round. Mac Jones had a very good night, at one point completing 19 straight passes, in part because A, the Buccaneers came without their best pass rusher, JPP. So Judon is for the Patriots, JPP is not for the Buccaneers. And that was a huge difference in the game because Judon was wreaking some havoc on Tom Brady. He was making him flinch and look and move off his spot regularly.
Yeah, Donovan Smith did not have a good.
He had a hard night against him because he is really good, and that is by far the best free agent that they signed. That he is a difference maker. Furthermore, the Bucs continued to lose DBs until they were down their top 3 cornerbacks. So Jamel Dean couldn't go. Carlton Davis got hurt. Murphy Bunting obviously still on IR.
He should be coming back soon. Skip him back
really soon. And in the end, Antoine Winfield Jr. also was concussed out of the game. Richard Sherman joined the team Wednesday. I'm getting choked up about this. He played all but one defensive snap. He started and he finished the game. Richard Sherman, I kept looking at number 5. He used to be 25, obviously. Number 5 is out there playing football when he said last Wednesday, I need a couple of weeks.
Need a week or two.
Yeah, right?
They got the man off his couch.
What are you doing?
They got the man off his couch.
Couch?
Now you know what the people are thinking. You see what he did? Yeah, but he didn't take 10 years. He didn't get off his couch after 10 years.
That's true.
He got off his couch after 6 months.
He did after 6 months, and he is out there kind of hanging tough, man. And they are going after him because he wasn't in game shape. I have no idea how he lasted the whole game that he did, and kudos to him for just surviving the game. He's going to be extremely sore because he got hit and had to hit a number of times that I don't think he was ready for. So it comes down to, remember last week I was all over the immortal D. Delaney that they had to throw into the Rams game. So they said no more D. Delaney. He only played special teams last night. So they have to go with Pierre Desir, who played at Lindenberg and Washburn, were his 2 colleges, and he's bounced around. He's now on his 8th. Yeah, he's been all over the place. He's on his 8th team now. What? And he got thrown in for a grand total of 26 defensive snaps because they just didn't have any corners left. And so, given all that, it was just Mac Jones's game to win because they just couldn't cover. And it comes down to a third down play. And if we could see this, Lavonte David makes the play of the game. It is the play of the night.
Coleman Miles is going to run for a while, Skip.
He's got on a shallow cross and he's just unguarded to me. I didn't see anybody even near him. And Lavonte leaps up. Oh, that's the
Lightning at 6:45 and 8 minutes.
If we up to this isn't the play actually, but we're talking about the third down play where Lavonte jumped up and batted it down.
3rd and 3.
Yeah, 3rd and 3 at the 37.
4th and 3.
Okay, well now I'm getting to my point about Belichick.
Okay, you thought that.
Well, this is where Belichick lost his nerve because we've got 4th and 3 at the 37. Well, they couldn't stop him. They had no more DBs left. They have little to no pass rush unless they send the backers up the middle. And finally, New England was starting to pick up the blitzes really well because they're obviously very well coached. And after a while, they're starting to lock in on Devin White coming up the middle, or maybe occasionally Lavonte. They had some corner blitzes. Even Richard Kane won a blitz at one point. And I could not believe that Bill Belichick would fold his tent because 4th and 3 at the 37, I just think you can convert that. And I saw the ESPN stats and information would tell you would have a better chance of winning the game by about 10% if you went for it on 4th down.
I believe
you tried a 56-yard field goal.
Would have gone for it had he had that second timeout. Remember, he had to burn the timeout because they was about to have too many men on the field and give New England a first down. So they had to burn one of their 2 remaining timeouts. I believe, Skip, if he has 2 timeouts, I believe he goes for it.
Okay, but you just said you wanted to see if the GOAT, if you gave him 50-some seconds left, could he go pull it off? Well, you could have eliminated that.
Oh, yeah,
If you complete to Jacoby Myers a 5-yard pass on 4th and 3, all of a sudden you're set up to just run the clock down to nothing.
Make them burn their timeouts.
And all of a sudden, if you could complete, maybe you could get 10 more total yards. Well, you could reduce that field goal to 44. And I think you can make it.
I'm not so sure, Skip. I thought you had this video. I didn't call for it. I thought you were going to call for it. I'm not so sure, Skip. He doesn't go for waves. It's going to be a lot shorter than a 40-something yard field goal, Skip. Because he's running. I mean, the middle just opens up.
To Jacoby Myers.
Yes, for Jacoby Myers.
This is on 3rd and 3.
Yes. It just parts like the Red Sea.
Okay.
So it looks like he's going to go for at least 15, 20 yards.
Okay. Now, let's go back to the GOAT. And let's see what he did in the previous series when he just said, I've had enough of this game, and I'm going for the throat. I'm going for Coach Belichick's throat. And he goes to AB twice. If we could see the 2 throws, there's 2:13 left. 2nd and 8 at the 30 and 3rd and 8 at the 30. And the first throw, he lost it in the lights. Like this is just. I thought it was a really good throw. Maybe you could track it and just turn the other way.
I think it hung up and got caught up in the wind too, Skip, and it pushed it. Because you see, AB is looking.
Okay, that's the second throw. Okay, so he goes rainbow on the first one, and then he goes rocket on the second one. Well, this is highly catchable by that guy. That guy? This is a really sweet throw. That's a touchdown throw.
That's a hard catch, Skip, because when you catch it that low, you lose sight of what guys. If you notice when guys catch it over the shoulder, they try to catch it like this. So once you let that ball go, your eyes are not tracking way down there. So that's where he lost it.
Okay.
But very catchable.
Not like
AB?
For that guy?
Yes.
A multi-Pro Bowler,
yes.
A guy who at certain points in his career is considered the best receiver in football. I just think you got to hang on to that ball, and you couldn't throw it any better. So I was impressed that Brady finally just said, hell with all this. I'm going to him. He's single covered because you almost have to single cover him out of the slot.
And why would he single cover, Skip? I mean, why was he going after? That was the guy that was injured. Because remember, he went out of play, and they brought Bethel in. He went to Bethel.
It's Jonathan Jones.
Yeah.
And he went right at him on 3rd and 6. I tweeted immediately, AB, go for AB. And on 3rd and 6, he converts to AB. And then he says, okay, something's wrong with him.
Yes.
I got my little man on him. I love my little man. My little man wants to wreak as much revenge in Foxborough almost as much as I do because he had his issues with the owner, obviously. So I'm going to my little man because that's the way we have to cap this off. I don't have my security blanket, who is Gronk, and usually in those situations it's just Gronk all day and all night. And Gronk wasn't there, obviously, so he couldn't force Belichick to double him every time, which would have loosened up a lot of other things. So he has to go home run to AB, and I thought both throws were good enough to be touchdowns, and both of them were not touchdowns. Okay, so that just opens the door for what happened after that. And here comes Mac Jones, and first they got an enormous 20-yard penalty on Jordan Whitehead in the last drive, if we could see that. And I have no idea, but it felt like even the referees were saying, no, Tom, we're not going to let you do this tonight because there's a throw over the middle by Mac Jones. I don't know what Jordan Whitehead did wrong here. Help me out.
I think they should. I think the foul was on Devin White, but they called Jordan Whitehead because if you look at it, Devin White grabs it.
Well, does he?
Yeah, he grabbed it. If you go back to the see, look at the see, he got it. That's what they call it right there. Skip. I'm like, that's not. The ball is already. The ball is behind it.
The ball's behind everybody.
Yeah.
The ball is basically uncatchable to me because he can't even find. Like Hunter Henry can't even find the football, right? So that set them up in shop, where they suddenly had a chance now to do some damage. So in the big picture of the night, as off as Tom Brady was, if you look at what happened, the Bucs went 9 of 19 on 3rd down, and the home team was only 2 of 9. Well, the offense was clicking pretty well. Like Brady made a lot of big throws, and they ran it pretty well.
And they did a great job of keeping it out of the end zone for the most part.
Okay.
And like you said, 9 of 19 versus 2 of 9.
Yep.
And you can't go 2 of 9. The Patriots really needed to play a perfect game, Skip. Not turn over. Mac threw a horrible interception. They fumbled the ball on the 28-yard line. They missed the opportunity with Slater running out of bounds. But you need to be somewhere around 50% on third down to give you an opportunity.
Yep.
So if you convert those. If you look at Kansas City yesterday, Skip, they 90% on third down. When you let a team get 90%, you're losing. You let a team get 50. You start letting teams get 50% on third down, Skip.
Yep.
You're probably going to lose those games. But give the Bucs credit. Even though they're down so many guys in the defensive backfield, Skip, that injury like a groin injury. That looks something serious to Carlton Davis. I don't believe he's coming back anytime
He's
soon.
pounding the turf.
Yes.
Usually when they pound the turf, it means I know I'm done for a while.
Right, and they brought the card out to get him out. So it looked like he might be down for a while. And you mentioned Jamel Dean. You mentioned Murphy Bunting.
Yep.
They're hurting right now in the
They are
defensive backfield.
really hurting. And if Winfield had a concussion, he could be gone for...
He's in protocol.
Yep.
But number 9, the guy that's filling in for JPP, he had a nice Skip.
Yeah, he's a rookie. The
First round.
Yeah, Tryon.
Yeah.
He's got a second name that I can't pronounce.
Joe Tryon.
Joe Tryon, from University of Washington.
Right. So he played well.
He's the last pick in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Bucs also surprised me because they got their running game back going. So they had 119 rushing. And the one thing they do better than anybody in football is you cannot run on them. Dallas didn't even try to run on them, and they wound up with -1 yard. So it's 119 to -1. That'll help keep you in the game.
And then at some point I tweeted, the Patriots said, "The hell with the run. They're not. It's a waste of down. It's a waste of time. Just put him in the gun." And Skip, you know what? For the most part, if you look at Mac Jones, he plays better. At Alabama, they kept him in the gun 95% of the time.
They did.
So you might have to start running your run plays out of the gun because for whatever reason, he seems more comfortable playing out of the gun. Once they went to the gun and they let him run speed, just hurry up, Skip. He was sensational.
Sensational. So, also turnovers. The one thing Tom did very well was, even though he was wild high in the first half, he wouldn't try anything crazy in the red zone. He didn't try to force one into coverage in the end zone. Every time it was even close, he just said, I'm throwing it in the fifth row.
He knows this is the kind of game, Skip.
You can't make a mistake.
Nope.
So they made no mistakes. And also, he only went down one time, which was pretty good because they were, in the first half especially, they beat Mac. You want to talk about sore? He's going to be sore this morning because he took a bunch of hits.
And Skip, I don't care what anybody say. I believe Shaq Barrett punched that ball out. I believe that was a fumble. They gave the ball back to the Patriots, but I don't really know what else you want the guy to do. The guy, yes, he bobbled it, but once he gained control, he took another step.
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah. And Shaq Barrett punched the ball out.
Yep. So this is how bad it got for Tom Brady last night. I look up and he is throwing a red zone pass to a guy named Cody McElroy. You ever heard of Cody McElroy? Okay, I only heard of him because he played on the basketball team at Oklahoma State. So I knew he was from small town Oklahoma. I didn't know how small. How about Chattanooga, Oklahoma? You ever heard of Chattanooga, Oklahoma?
I heard Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay, thank you. So have I. And he went to Southeastern Oklahoma State. He was briefly on the practice squad with my Cowboys. He's bounced around the league. He's 6 feet 6 inches tall, and they were so desperate for a red zone target without Gronk that Tom Brady actually threw a pass to Cody McElroy in this game. It is just preposterous to me. I couldn't even compute it last night that it came down to Cody McElroy and Pierre Desir on defense. They're annihilated injury-wise. They are decimated. So all things considered, given the hype, given the build-up, given the fact that he did break the all-time record fairly quickly.
I hate when guys break records on the road because we don't pay it its proper respects. I wish I somehow could always line up, Skip, where you get that Drew Brees type moment where you're at home, a Monday night game, they break the game. Because something like this, it should be stopped. I'm not saying it's the all-time home run record or something like that because football records are not the same in baseball records. We know baseball records are more are thought more highly of than football records. I don't care where LeBron is. Once he breaks Kareem's record, Skip, they stopping that game.
Lord have mercy. They might just suspend the game and say, well, we'll have to finish later.
I know you remember this, Skip. You remember when Tim Brown caught his 100 pass and they stopped the game for like 30 minutes. They brought his mom, they brought his cousin, they brought everybody from his hometown out on the field. I'm like, well, down.
Do you remember what they did for Breeze in New Orleans?
Yes. I think it was against Washington football team. If I'm not mistaken.
It went on for a half hour.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm not saying it should go on that long, but Skip,
Okay, it's not like Brady is vying back and forth with Drew Brees because obviously he's retired.
over.
Okay, so this record is going to stand for a while.
Right.
Do I give Mahomes a chance? And sure I do.
But even if you give him a chance, Skip, you're still talking about 15 years. It's not gonna be like Breeze. Breeze had the record for a year.
That's what I'm saying. And that's all you get?
That's all you get.
They got the football and threw it out, you know,
Right.
and then they went right on with the next play.
Right.
Okay, so we did that. So the point was there was so much hyping and overhyping for Brady that in the end, when I look at his numbers, 22 of 43, as you said, low percentage for 269, but he had no touchdowns, but no interceptions,
Right.
no strip sack fumbles.
Right.
So he actually played a clean football game under the highest emotional pressure he's felt maybe his whole career.
Well, Skip, there are not very many quarterbacks that can win a football game when they don't throw any touchdowns. It's hard to do. I mean, you think about it because
unless the final score is 19-17.
But even then, Skip, when you're talking about that, because that guy has the balls on so many plays, and if he throws the ball as many times as he threw it last night, given those conditions, but to not have a TD and still win, it just goes to show you, Tom understands the moment of the game. He's like, you know, a turnover here and there could actually swing the game in their favor. If I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss high. If I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss out of bounds.
Yep.
I'm not going to give them any chance. The ball get popped up in there and fluky things happen.
Yep.
He does as good a job of understanding the game early on as anybody in the history of the game that's ever played that position.
Ever.
He understands it. Like, nah, this is not the day.
Yep.
I need to take a risk.
Okay, and I'm going to sum up Tom Brady's night and his emotions with a play that happened early in the fourth quarter. It was 3rd and 6 at the Tampa 42. And do you remember what Brady did? He took off running, if you can see it, because you want to talk about an effort to get a first down. This is 44 years old, through 2 defenders, head over heel, all the way back.
Just tackle it. Why
Yep.
would you hit him? Why would you
Yep.
push him forward? Just tackle it.
Through 2 defenders,
Grab him.
and falls backward and throws the ball back over his head for the first down.
Did I get it? Did I
get it?
Now, y'all?
I got it. Are you believing?
He got it.
And you don't think he flashed on that ugly 40 that he ran?
Yeah.
Right?
That's all I got. That's all I got.
So, way to go, Tom. That sort of summed up his night. That showed you how much he wanted to win that game and what he was willing to risk at age 42.
Yeah, the emotions of this game, Skip, it was far greater than I even think Tom anticipated. Because if you look at his first couple of series, he did not look like Tom Brady. I'm like, damn, Tom spraying the ball all over the place. I get the conditions
Wild,
are
high.
adverse,
Yeah.
but I've seen you play in conditions. I've seen you play in conditions like this before, Tom.
Okay, so in the end, I thought Belichick had the game. I even tweeted, let's just get this over with, because I was just convinced they would march right down because they couldn't cover. They're down to their 4th and 5th string defensive backs. And I just thought Belichick will just go for the throat here. And he went for the 56-yard field goal, and you know the rest of the story.
But this is Brady, Skip. These are the type games. This is how he built his reputation. He finds a way to win the games when you say the other team should have won.
Yep.
Somehow Brady finds a way to pull the rabbit out the hat.
He did. And in the end, the better man won, and I'm talking about the better man on and off the field won. And I was
There
very
just
happy
so
for
much,
that.
So much from that game, and we are not done talking about it.
For many of us, it's back to the office and back to school time. Establishing a consistent bedtime and wake time routine is key because quality sleep helps boost energy, recovery, and well-being. Sleepers who routinely use their Sleep Number 360 smart bed features and Sleep IQ technology get almost 100 hours more proven quality sleep per year. Over 1/3 of Sleep IQ sleepers have a preferred sleep number setting of 35, 40, or 45. But remember, it's completely adjustable and up to you. Sleep IQ sleepers who say they exercise regularly are the most restful overall, have the highest Sleep IQ score, and the lowest average heart rate and breath rate compared to those who exercise occasionally or rarely. When it comes to how couples sleep, one of the largest factors is sleep temperature. In fact, 83% of couples report one or both partners sleep too hot or too cold. Discover the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. Now, during the biggest sale of the year, all beds are on sale. Save 50% on a new limited edition smart bed plus special financing. For a limited time only at Sleep Number stores or sleepnumber.com. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details.
Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott had their way against the Panthers' top-ranked defense, stacked through 4 touchdowns while Zeke rushed for 143 yards and a touchdown of his own. The duo led Dallas to a 36-28 win over Carolina to improve to 3-1 on the year as they remain atop the NFC East. So Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressed were you with the Cowboys?
2.
A 2?
Yeah. Could they beat the
What game were you watching?
I watched the game that you remember when we had this conversation on Friday? I said it's going to be a very similar game to the Philadelphia Eagles because there's a team, they've beaten a team that I didn't think and a lot of people didn't think was very good when you looked at their resume. Beating the Jets doesn't impress me. Beating the Houston Texans doesn't impress me. Jameis lost to an 0-4 team yesterday. So we're going to have to reassess what we really think about the New Orleans Saints because they got that great win on opening day against against the Packers.
Yep.
Everybody was ready to anoint them. So we're going to have to reevaluate. It's going to take a little bit longer before we understand just what the New Orleans Saints are. But I think we can go out on a limb and say we don't believe the Jets are a very good team, even though they had a very impressive win yesterday, Skip. It seems to me that these teams now, if you got an offense, Skip, that you have wide receivers and you get down the field in a hurry, you can make plays. Teams are playing what we call shell coverage. They're playing their safeties deep. They say, we dare you to run the football. We dare you. We double dare you. And we saw that yesterday with the Cowboys. There's like, we can stop you with this light box. And the Cowboys say, no, hell, you can't. You better drop that safety down there. Well, Skip, they're down J.C. Horn. They're down a few corners also. Do you really want to go one-on-one with Amari and CeeDee Lamb and Wilson, who's playing very well? They got some tight ends. Jarwin and Schultz do a very good job in the receiving game for the Cowboys. And so that's the way they were going to play it. And Zeke got going early. And Zeke is a type of running back, and this is how most running backs are, Skip. You let them get a 10-yard run. You let them get a 15-yard run within that first 2 to 3 carries, well, you got hell on your hands. Because now they're getting the rhythm. They're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be one of them days. And Zeke started eating. And so for me, Skip, when I look at it, I never thought, and I told you this, I said, Skip, I don't really believe Carolina's that good. I don't believe all those defense, you throw out the stats, number 1 in rush, number 1 in this, number 1 in that. I said, well, Skip, who they play? Well, they're number. I said, Skip, they really haven't played anybody. Davis Mills doesn't excite me. Zach Wilson, I think, has the potential to be good if they get some more pieces around him and can protect it.
Had a big day yesterday.
But at this present time, no. So for me, Skip, you want me to give you credit for something that I did against a team that I didn't think was very good anyway. Dak was 14 to 22, 188, 4 touchdowns. That was very impressive. But once you get the running game going and you see they play action off it. Now, I was impressed with the throw to Amari. Only a handful of quarterbacks gonna put that ball right there. And it's just basically hit this chimney throw. You just drop it down the chimney and he just stuck his arm out and the ball fell in his arm. But Carolina is not very good. I don't care what you say, what other people have tried to convince themselves that, oh, Carolina. No, Skip, they're not that good.
Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
I'm going to borrow your phrase and tell you you're about to have hell to pay. You're about to have hell on your hands because my team is legit. To answer Jenny's question,
They're not.
Scale of 1 to 10, how impressed was I yesterday? That was a big 9 for me. I'm eye testing. I don't care who the opponent was yesterday. I'm eye testing my Cowboys. I do care that Carolina has a legit defense. I do care that they did come in number 1 against the run, having allowed 135 yards in 3 games.
What running back did they face?
We went for 245 in 1 game. 135 in 3 games they'd allowed. 245 in 1 game was my Cowboy rushing attack. What have I told you about my team? It's turned into a rushing juggernaut. My team has suddenly climbed very quietly to number 2 in the NFL in rushing, just behind the Cleveland Browns. Does that impress?
Oh, that one was fucking solid. It's warm too. weather is weird.